you had people who were nurses who were doing very un-nurse-like things, and people who were doctors doing some very undoctor-like things.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 1, 2, 3 Teamwork. Today, I have with me Li Lian. Super excited to have you here, Li Lian. Li Lian is a medical doctor, a healthcare leader. Maybe you can give an introduction about yourself to our viewers.
Thank you so much, Anna, for having me. I'm Li Lian. Currently, I'm the Director for Corporate Planning at Tan Tock Seng Hospital, which is a public hospital in Singapore, and the Central Health region. In my previous life, I've been doing internal medicine and fought SARS then as well, and also hospital operations at 2 of NHG's general hospitals. So more recently, during COVID, I was in the command for the ops side of the Khoo Teck Puat Hospital under National Healthcare Group as well. So most of my work has been done in the public sector, and this is where I really think that we need to strengthen the future of healthcare teams, especially.
Well, I'm so excited to talk to you. I almost get a little bit emotional because, we've all been through like this pandemic for like the past 2 years. And it's really, we've been leaning so much on the healthcare world. And so I'd love to talk about teamwork in healthcare. So it's really cool. Hey, let's get right at it. Our first question is always, do you have an inspiring or memorable story about teamwork?
So I think I'll use the most recent example, which is last year in 2020. So when COVID first hit us, it was over the weekend of Chinese New Year. That was near the end of January, the beginning of February, when the word was given to all of us, prepare, something's coming. And then, of course, the public knew about it later. But the team that first assembled for that first 2 to 3 months, I think was crucial in how we prepared for Singapore. And the memorable things I found out about it were that people across the healthcare system, guys at MOH, the people in the 6 big hospitals in Singapore, across the polyclinics, in the private healthcare sectors, forgot about their rank. So what actually happened was people picked up the duties that they felt that they, as people, were most suitable to do. So it was a wartime role that we never anticipated people to fill in that way. You had people who were nurses who were doing very un-nurse-like things, and people who were doctors doing some very undoctor-like things, and people who ran administration and operations doing very unadministrative things. And so it was really great to see that the strength of everybody bringing themselves as a resource into the team. So for me, I think that kind of teamwork is really at the heart of what makes it come to life and actually helps people to succeed.
Wow. Wow. What an inspiring story. Wow. And this is stuff that's happening without, the general public like me and many of the people here in Singapore have realized. You guys have been working so hard behind the scenes to rally together and, like fight this pandemic on behalf of all of us a bit, right?
Well, actually, we're the last platoon, right? Because if all of you guys are not wearing masks or getting vaccinated, we're the last line, really. You're the first,
Agree.
actually.
Agree. Just a small note. Wear your mask. Have your vaccine. I'm done. I'm checked for that. Absolutely. Hey, Li Lian. Healthcare under pressure, not just during pandemic, but in general as well. Like, so I bet there's many challenging moments when you work with others. Like, can you give what do you find most challenging when you work together in teams?
So I think there's all these models that people use, right, for how you form a team or a high performing team. But I think personally, it's only down to 2 main things, at least in healthcare. Because the nature of healthcare is you can't do anything alone. Everyone knows the minute you go into healthcare, you're going to end up in one, if you have a very small pocket, but usually many, 10, 20 teams. And they're like huge Venn diagrams that overlap. And so the 2 big things that help this all work is the ability to be clear exactly who you are and what hat you wear in those 20 teams so that everyone has a place and they play a role that adds value in that team. And the second thing actually is that because you are involved in so many different types of teams, to always have an open mind so that you can actually approach all the issues and challenges that you come across in a neutral way so that things don't get stuck together and things start to blur across your teams. So I think those 2 things would help people really make sure that they are effective in any team that they go into for healthcare.
Right. Interesting. Interesting. Hey, what is like, these are already some success ideas, but like, what is your secret ingredient for successful teamwork?
The most successful teams that I've been part of, I've played many different roles, from the grunt to having to lead them to being a facilitative coach and so on and so forth. And I think what is the common thread amongst all these teams is that they actually have a relationship, or they've managed to build a sort of relationship with one another as people who trust one another at the level of people. It's not my trust in an office that someone holds. It's not my trust in the system that gives me this role, but it's actually when I look that person in the eye, I can go, Anna, I trust you because
Mm,
I know who you are and what you stand for, and you have my back. So I think as long as that level of trust is there, then people will care for one another in the team so that they don't drop the ball because they know everyone else relies on one another to get things done.
right. Right. And that trust, when you work together, do you feel that trust is instant, or that trust is created over time, or like, how do you get to that level of trust?
So this one's a really good question, right? Especially if, let's say, you have teams composed of very diverse individuals, or actually the diversity and that inclusion is favorable to have. So how do you bring together a team like that? For me, I think the trust, at least in healthcare teams, has a few tangible components. Firstly, in order to be a functionally valuable member of the team, you do need to have um, a level of competence that you are sure of
Mm,
yourself. Like, where do you stand and what do you contribute to this team, right? And that could be anything from being a great surgeon to being able to type the best minutes, anything that you bring, right? Being able to explain things clearly to patients. And then the second thing after that will be honesty. That
mm,
even if you had to tell your teammate, actually, we're not doing so well, there's a gap, people hate this thing, that we're doing. So that kind of honesty has to be there so that people can see clearly what it is that needs to be done, and sometimes very quickly. And sometimes to communicate also the importance of something. That's the second one. The
right.
third one is, do you care about the thing that you're working on? And also the
Mm,
people that you want to work with. So it's a bit about common goal, and you can care about it in any way. I mean, some people care about it because they think that it's going to bring a great return or a benefit of some sort. Some people
mhm,
care about it because they really are very passionate about this thing. Some people care about it because they feel that as a community we should, etc., etc. And then the very last thing, which is a difficult thing to describe, so I'm going to say it as a question, is, would you give a damn if anything happened to that? Which is different from the care.
would you
And I
give
have
a damn
to,
if anything?
if anything happened to the thing
Mm,
you're working on and the people you
mm.
worked with. So it's about the team.
So how is that? So you say it's different from care, but can you explain a little bit more how that is different from care?
Okay.
I'm learning a lot.
So this is my perspective, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when I
that's
say
awesome.
do I care about the issue at hand? Do I care
Mm,
about, washing my hands, wearing a mask, making
mm,
sure the X-ray was done in the right place? Do I really care, and what do I care, and what does it bring to me, right? But when I say, do I
mm,
give a damn about the whole thing? It's the team. Like, if
mm,
somebody was sick, would you cover for them? If somebody needed to work on something, could you ask for help if you're overloaded? It kind of stretches beyond office sometimes,
mm,
again, on a more personal scale. And I think that teams that have built that type of foundation of trust, where they do give a damn about what happens to one another, um, tend to have something that is team like, but also a relationship that allows a greater network in future. So if you can build those across all the different teams that you're on, you would have created an extremely trustworthy network. So
right.
dare I say, this is like a human blockchain.
A human blockchain. I love that. A human blockchain. What a great one, Lillian. Hey, hey, this has been amazing. So insightful. A very short chat, but I've learned a lot. Thanks so much for being on our show today.
Thanks, Anna.